Hello everyone. Now, a couple of things. This is my second attempt at this today. First video, I looked at it after I completed it, was shocking. There you go. This is why I'm doing this again. It's only fair because I suspect some of the sound quality and the video quality will not be good enough. Now, this should have been last Thursday. I realised that. But the goblins have been at work in my head and have left me feeling rather deflated, I suppose is the best way of putting it. But also quite, it's like that. It's difficult to put into words sometimes. But down is the best way. Possibly to depression. Look, there are many out there who say, oh, what's he on about now? Well, look, if you've never experienced it, then please don't comment, because you haven't a clue what you're talking about. Because people who suffer from depression and any other one of a range of poor mental health issues function. They get by. They don't want anyone's pity. I don't want anyone's pity. But when I'm feeling like this, don't expect a good response if you say things like that. There we go. So today, I want to talk about your story and how much your story matters. It matters because of how it makes you feel, what will make you feel, and how it may change your perception about yourself and your past. It's also a good thing to do, to talk. Doesn't matter what you talk about, because eventually you will run across the words you've been wanting to say for so long. And get the words out there. Now, when you first meet somebody, when you're having your cup of tea and your sandwich, don't say, I feel like killing myself every day, because I don't think they're going to stay sitting there for very long. But say something. Say, oh, I see you've got a book on, spark plugs. Fascinating. May not be. That's a good way of striking up a conversation. And that's what you want. So that over time, a year, 6 months, 3 months, you'll have said an awful lot of things about yourself. And it's only when you allow yourself time to reflect properly on this little test period of your life, you think, hang on, oh, I remembered so much. The way you've done it is by a man searching for opals. He knows, he got an idea where they are. He can see the vein he wants to follow. Or she. You tip away at it, and eventually one day, if you're lucky, I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying is that one day you will string in your mind those words together. You go, oh God, that's what happened. That's, like I say, it's not a magic wand, it's not a magic solution. It can only happen through you talking to somebody. Doesn't matter who it is. Please don't accept any old advice. Most people you talk to, that's what they're for. They're for talking to. It's a difficult thing when you speak about mental illness, because there are so many people there, and about more severe medical conditions, far more severe, that, they read somewhere, they saw somewhere. No, if you're dealing with a mental health professional, please don't be swayed by someone else. Listen to them. As I said before, if you feel it's not for you, you're perfectly entitled to change. Please don't listen to all these snake oil salesmen and their representatives who are the dumb beans that use these things in the misplaced belief that it's going to do some good. Talking to somebody over a cup of tea, getting to know new people, creating your own narrative so that it becomes easier for you to understand is great. And making new friends and having new friends, making new acquaintances. This is wonderful. But don't allow yourself to be swayed by some of these fools out there, because that's what they are. Fools who think that this thing and that thing and the other thing, you know, I shove this crystal up my backside. Oh God, no, I'm happier than ever. It's not to be done. You can't, because you can figure out a certain amount. You get to the point of saying, yeah, I need to speak to a professional. Then do make sure that they're a proper professional. Then you can continue telling your story. But tell your story to other people. But don't tell them the whole thing. Hold them in suspense. Good story takes time, but it helps you. It helps you to start to see how deeply it goes, maybe. But it helps you to tell people this is how this has affected me as a person. You can do it in small ways. You sit down that one day in the canteen, wherever it is, and he says, "You're not looking very well today. What's up?" You say, "I'm just having a really, really bad day." Like I say, people with poor mental health function. Most quite well. Some not so well. And that's the time where they need somebody to sit there, show kindness, show love by saying, "Okay, tell me." You may be reluctant at first, but you say, "Look, it's not worth bothering about, because it comes and goes." And say, "Well, let's see what's coming on this time." This is, to me, vital, because it's a big part of being well. Not wellness, being well. Big part of that is other people. Take the time who show us that there is humanity there. We don't have to search very far to get it. Now, I'll relate this in a way may help. There was a famous American French extraction chef, Anthony Bourdain, who started off as a pot wash, became a line chef. For those of you who don't know, in the kitchen, you stand generally in a line and you go chop, 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 chop. Yes, yes, yes. That's what you're called, a line chef. And ending his career as the head chef of a busy, busy bistro in Manhattan, doing hundreds and hundreds of covers per day. During his time there, he took heroic, by his own admission, heroic amounts of drugs. And he also wrote a book during that time, or Kitchen Confidential, which detailed his life as cook, head chef, his drug taking, and the underbelly of the restaurant trade. Now, having worked in that trade myself, I can tell you, if you knew what went on in kitchens, you'd never sit from the restaurant again. Not to eat in any case, because, you know. So, this book led him to receiving a contract with various television channels, and he presented a couple of well-known programs. No Reservations and Parts Unknown, where he would go to a destination with no preconceived notions what he was going to find. Now, over the years, he returned to his favourite destinations, but even then he said, I come back and I feel at home. He wasn't bringing the feeling with him. He said, once I was here, when you go to a place for the first time, he'd say things like, when you sit down with a family to eat in their home, they give you a bowl of still wriggling worms, or, something that's been in a sheep's stomach, or a rat that's been caught in the paddy fields. You eat it. For a couple of simple reasons. One, they're very poor. This is all they have. Yet they're willing to share it with you. And two, why should I bring my Western notions with me when I come to someone else's country? So a matter of respect. And this is what all meetings are about. They're about respect. Now, he said this to let people know that you travel. You travel to a place. But it's only there can you write the story. You can't write it from your archer. You can if you take good notes, but you write it there. It's where you write your story. It's here. It's having that food. It's not a preconception in your mind. You have it there. It's difficult to see it any other way. That's the whole point of traveling. These experiences can only be had there. You can not bring them back with you. That's why holiday photographs can often be particularly silly, or taking videos of this and that. You get a memory. It's the best place for them, because then they change, and they must. And this is part of your story. This is how your story goes. You explain to somebody that, and it takes a lot of courage to say to somebody, my head is well, I suffer from depression. There are days where it's not great. But you say to them that, I function. You look around you, all around, you see people with problems. They get over them. Others are given more leeway than some others. Why that happens, who knows? Recovering alcoholic. Oh, I always had a problem for years. You say to somebody, I suffer from depression. Get over yourself. It's something I've heard. Not about me, but about people who suffer from something similar. Now, it's downright ignorant. Of course it is. Because it's not well enough known. Despite some people being very vocal about it, people listen like that. Because it's the funny thing, when you look at something, when you're looking at somebody saying something, it goes in here better. It's about opening your senses. You go like that, well, you still have to see them. And the association comes afterwards anyway. Telling a story is much more fun. It's you will have it heard of some ladies and gentlemen with great raconteurs to turn a joke like that. Yeah, you can. Because in here, there's an awful lot happening. People who can speak really well like that, they have something here. It's avoidance, perhaps. But as you tell the story, like I said, eventually you'll run out of words and you'll hit upon the words that mean the most, that resonate the most. That will get you to that moment where you realize that you must do something about it. How do you go about that? You go and see your medical professional. You don't wait, or you try not to. It's not for me to say. I don't spend my time with a medical health professional, but I know I have to return soon, quite soon. Because doing it helps to give shape to past events. It helps us to fill in these missing parts in that big quilt. We're able to stitch large areas together. And sometimes once we've done an area, we look at it and we go, I can't remember being like that. What's happening? And then other pieces, important pieces, are missing completely. That's why talking is important. It's being able to coax some of these memories out of the recesses of your mind. It may never happen. Frequently it doesn't. People just forget. One thing is certain. When we're born, we're taking in sound. When we start to open our baby blues, use them properly, this thing here is taking millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of pictures. And they're all in here. That is certain. They don't go anywhere else. There's no delete button. They're in there. So talking is a good way of getting these words, these images out. Then once we decide that, I can't remember some things, or some things are in the wrong order, or it's not the way I remember it. Why can't I remember that? These can hurt us. Talk to somebody. It helps to start the process. It's your story. It will always be your story. And your story will always matter. Always. As children, we were often told, don't talk now, I'm busy. That can have an effect. You're told not to talk. Not a good thing. Because it keeps it, then, it's sorry, French and English. It's folded back into your mind. And it covers a lot of what happens. Now, the only way to get it out is to encourage yourself to do it. To talk. Write if you have to. But it's better with somebody else. Because it's more comforting. Speak to somebody else. You may find you're speaking with somebody who's had past experiences. You don't want somebody who's going to become a coach without you having seen a professional. See a professional. You're not going to employ a baker to repair your car. Don't fall into that trap. If you're not going to seek a medical professional to go through a medical service in your country, it's perhaps much easier to do. It might be longer. If you'd rather see a service and see a number of people, certainly there are options there. And it can be intimidating going to see a psychiatrist or psychoanalyst or a counsellor. Again, there's no guarantee that a psychiatrist is going to be better than a counsellor. It depends what you need. Some counsellors will go quite in depth. Some psychotherapists, maybe not so well. Some psychoanalysts, they can tell you a dream from a nightmare. You know, you get the idea. But in general, these are people who know what they're doing. These are people who keep up their training. These are people who can help. That's all I can say. I would encourage you to tell people your story. Don't go out and shout from the rooftops, please. Once or twice when I'm not being the best. Those are bad days. So, finally, what I'd say is that you're talking, telling your story. Reason really does matter. It stops us spiraling. Allows us to fix points. If we can fix those points in time, in distance, if we can relativize it, it's better. We have these points in our mind. We know these events happened. It's easier. We can stop more easily on the way down. We can try to hold on to these thoughts, and they're very good. Sometimes when we try to think is the very opposite of meditating, because there isn't an awful lot in there. I'm lucky there's always something in there. Maybe. For some of you, I know it's not the case. When you try to think, there's nothing there. And I know that can be very frightening. So talk. Try and dredge up some scraps of memory. And then go and speak to somebody. Yeah. I'm going to leave you, and look, I'd say next Sunday, I would hope I'll be feeling a little better. But for now, I should go and take a walk. It's a lovely evening. I start dealing with a few physical problems. Back. It's just not from exercising. All these things are linked, so I must do my best. I hope you do too. I hope everything goes well for you. Now, as ever, I'll be. You want to email me, you want to speak to me, you want to Zoom. I'll gladly speak to you for what it's worth. I listen really well. Really well. So for now, I would say be good, be well, be happy, even for a moment. May your God or your goddess, should you have one, go with you. I'll speak to you